So we had this really kind of crappy personal beginning to the year with a lot of loss.
Yeah.
And then we really felt like if it's weird, like people always ask us like what's going on in the real estate world, right?
I cannot believe I'm saying this, but we are a week away from Christmas Eve.
Wow.
2024.
Have you wrapped all my gifts?
I haven't even received all your gifts. I'm still waiting for them to come in.
Oh, man.
Amazon is like lying to me about the delivery time.
Okay.
But no, 2024 is coming to an end.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because this year has not been the easiest.
It's been a rough year, you know, and I think that you and I were talking the other day. We were like, you know, as we get to the end of 2024, you know, we talked about let's do a little recap of the year.
Yeah.
Podcast episode. And it has been a tough year.
It's been a tough year, but like I told you, it's brought so much clarity for me. And that's what, because I know we're not the only ones that have had a tough year. You know, I'm seeing a lot of people share how...
No, go ahead. I want to look up something while you're talking. Go ahead,
how
though.
2024 kind of like made them lose their spark.
So here's something on that note before I forget this.
Yeah.
I saw this quote the other day, and it's attributed to Steve Jobs. Whether or not he really said this, I don't know. But it says, some years you win and some years you build character. And I know that for us in our industry as real estate agents, every year is supposed to look like a win.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody at the end of the year is like, I did this and I sold that and blah, blah, blah. This year was not a win for us on a personal level, on a professional level. I mean, so this was the year.
All around.
Yeah. So if you look at it like, did it build character? Maybe. But like you were saying, I've seen a lot of people where they struggled this year.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was.
I've seen it a lot, like from not just like other agents in the workplace and stuff like that, but just even other people on social media.
Yeah. But I think it was the election year. We had the hurricanes here in Florida. We just had like a lot of heavy shit happen.
Yeah.
Right?
And especially with us, you know, January, we lost your father.
My dad died in January.
I almost broke my back. I don't think we ever talked about that. So it was a couple days after your dad passed.
That's right.
And we were getting ready to leave to go to Crystal River for his viewing.
Yep.
And Rocky was outside, and I heard the neighbor's dog out, and I knew Rocky was going to start barking at the dog through the fence. So I went walking out on our pool deck to call Rocky inside. I slip, and I don't slip and fall straight down. I slipped and fell.
Right on the edge.
And I moved forward, and my lower back landed on the corner of our pool deck. And I let out a scream.
I remember.
You come running out. You start yelling at Rocky. You thought Rocky did something.
I did.
And I'm just like...
Yeah.
I was almost in tears. I was like, please don't tell me I just broke my back.
I forgot about that. But then...
And then it felt like somebody beat me up for like 2 weeks later. It was the worst.
Well, and then that was overshadowed by 3 or 4 weeks after that. Rocky died.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, Rocky started to get lethargic. We're trying to figure out what's going on with him.
Yeah.
At the vet every single week. And then Easter.
Yeah.
That's it.
So we had this really kind of crappy personal beginning to the year with a lot of loss.
Yeah.
And then we really felt like if... It's weird. Like people always ask us like, what's going on in the real estate world, right? Okay. We have been in nationally a real estate recession for 2 years. And what that means is the number of closed sales has contracted, right? But prices here in St. Petersburg have not come down. So don't get that twisted if you're listening to this. Be like, oh yeah, it's going to get you. I'm not saying the prices came down. Prices have still stayed, you know, the average sales price of a house in St. Pete last week was $550,000. It's been that way for a long time.
Yeah, still holding strong.
Yeah. But the number of sales nationwide has gotten to the lowest point since 1995. Just under $4 million or 4 million transactions, right? And so we felt that
Oh, yeah.
in our business.
Oh, yeah.
And
we couldn't make sense of it.
I still can't make sense of it.
We do look back and we do know that our social media presence did fall off track. And that's a huge part of our marketing is social media content.
Yep.
And of course, there's a reason. It's because your dad passed away. Rocky, my baby, just passed away. The last thing I want to do is be like, hey guys, let's go and check out this local St. Pete coffee shop. And I'm going to show you what my favorite order is. And I'm not doing that.
The social media aspect of our business, if you guys know us and you follow us, it's really where we built our business over the last 9 years. It's just being present on social media. And I really struggled with it this year from the standpoint of those things that you just talked about.
Yeah.
Like just not feeling inspired to get on camera.
Yeah.
Right? And it was also this sort of internal pushback against the content that I am seeing, where I was like, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who owns a media production company. And he's like, look, man, your job as a real estate agent isn't to be a tour guide.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, you're right. But we're told as real estate agents to be that.
And
go to the coffee shop.
Yeah, that's what everybody's doing. So there's like this pressure, like, crap, should I be doing that? But here's the thing. No offense to any agent who's talking about local coffee shops and their favorite store or whatever, like being the tour guide. But I take a step back and I'm like, if I was somebody who is ready to buy or sell a house, would I pick them? Because what are they showing me that they know about real estate?
The thing is that we are told this as real estate agents by social media managers that, let's say there's some guy in Boise, Idaho who is researching moving to St. Pete, and maybe he writes, what's the best coffee shop in St. Pete? And your video that you put hashtag best coffee shop in St. Pete pops up. He watches it. He goes, oh, cool, Tina. He follows you. 3 years from now, when he wants to buy a house here, maybe he thinks of you as his real estate agent. That's what it's for, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But I know at the end of the day, if I'm scrolling through social media and I see people like at this coffee shop, at this restaurant or whatever, I went to a coffee shop today. I went to a restaurant today, but I wasn't there to create content.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
When you're working deals and stuff, the last thing that's on your mind is, let me record me ordering this latte.
Right. So I don't want to get off on this tangent, but the social media thing became such a grind.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't have time for this. I don't want to be creating this content.
You just had like almost like writer's block.
It was something. And so we know that our social content fell off.
Yeah.
Right. And then there was just this, I can't tell you how many conversations I had with people this year about real estate who never transacted. People that called and said, I'm thinking about selling my house. Let's talk about this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Or maybe we're considering buying something. Let's talk about this, this, and this. And then nothing against any of those people because you buy and sell when the time is right for you.
Yeah.
But a lot of those conversations just went, they were just,
nowhere.
They didn't go anywhere,
Yeah.
right? I remember there was a day I looked at our customer contact spreadsheet. And I was like, man, there's like 70 people on here between buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
I think 10 of them did something this year.
Yeah.
Right? The rest of them are just there for 2025 or whatever. And we'd love all of you guys. I'm not, this isn't right. It's just, the point is there were so many things that led people to not transact this year. High interest rates, the hurricanes, the election, all of these things, you throw them into the pot. And it was weird for us because around me, I was seeing other people like, hey, I'm having my best year ever. And I was like, what is that guy doing?
Yeah.
Like,
but then you saw other agents that, we admire their business and they're like, I'm having the worst, like worse than my first year in the business.
Yeah. I talked to a lot of agents that way. Yeah.
It's been really strange.
Yep.
Like you can't really, normally if something dips in your business, you're able to pinpoint, hey, yeah, it was this.
Yeah.
But this year, it's just, none of it has made sense.
Well, I do think that when I look at that Steve Jobs quote, character building of it, right? I think this year has made me sort of pull back a little bit and try to look at this greater broad view and think of something that you always say to me, which is this: what is it that you really want?
Yeah.
Right? And there's times where I see the big shiny object,
Yeah.
or the people or the persons or the agents that are like at this level,
Yeah.
where I'm like, oh shit, well, I'm not at that level. I should be.
Well, you're conditioned in this business. You're conditioned. You have to be a top agent or you're nobody.
Right. So that's the thing, is when I see like, okay, like our friend Riley out in Aspen,
Yeah.
right, sells the most expensive piece of real estate ever in Colorado for just over $100 million or
Yep.
something, right? And I was like, oh, holy shit. Well, how do I get to a market that has $100 million listings? Okay. But then you start to realize, okay, everybody has something that's different or important to them.
Yeah.
To your point.
Oh, yeah.
For some agents, it's building a team of 200 agents underneath them and running a business. For some agents, it's making sure that I sell 100 homes a year, right? For other agents, it's if I could make $100,000, I'm good.
Yeah.
My spouse does this. Our bills are here, like whatever, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's different. So this sort of like pissing contest to be the top,
Yeah.
it gets so ingrained in you as an agent because it's always in your face.
Yeah.
Right? And it makes you go, well, I sold 30 homes last year. I feel pretty good. Then you turn around and somebody else says, I sold 80. And you're like, well,
How? Why?
right.
Why him and why not me?
Right. And
Like,
then you go, so how do I get to 80? But then you go, okay, wait a minute. That person worked 100 hours a week.
Yeah.
They never took a vacation.
Yeah.
Right. They're single. They don't have a family.
they're probably burnt out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And then you go, okay, I don't need that. And so that really started to kind of strike a chord with me this year.
Yeah.
And then I started to think about who we are as people, what we like to do with our free time,
Yeah.
with our spare time. And I wanted it to get kind of crystallized. And I know that every year we have a word of the year. I don't remember what the word of our
I
year
know.
was.
I was trying to think of that earlier.
I know 2 years ago was elevate,
Yeah.
right? But my word of 2025 is authentic.
I like that.
Yeah. I just want to be, in everything that we do, authentic to who we are, right? As an example, we had a client this year who, this client's home presented the highest sales price that we would ever had.
Yep.
And I remember we fired that client.
Yeah, we did.
And when I let that client go, I remember waking up the next morning and telling you, that was the first night that I slept through the night in weeks, where I didn't wake up thinking about that client at 2 a.m. and not being able to go back to sleep.
I told you.
Yeah. And I was like, when I talked to him about it, I just said, we're just not on the same page.
Yeah.
We just don't see things in the same way, and we're never going to get there.
Well, I also didn't take into account all the work that we put in.
Well, he did, but he didn't value it.
Yeah.
And he didn't value our time. Point is that working that particular transaction, that property, it wasn't authentic.
Yeah.
It felt like, what's that guy's name that you always talk to me about? The guy's book that you always read?
Bob Proctor?
Bob Proctor. Where Bob Proctor said, as much as there may be something that you want to do and really, really, really want to do it.
Yeah.
But if it feels like work.
Oh, yeah. It has to be in alignment. Otherwise,
Right.
things.
Right.
It's so funny because, you brought that up and everything. And for me, like I said in the beginning of this episode, this year brought clarity to what I value and what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been so stressful, being an agent this year. And, something that I haven't talked about on social media or anywhere at all is that, I had extensive lab work done. My hormones are tanked.
Yep.
If I wanted to have a baby with you right now, I couldn't.
Yeah.
And that kind of made me realize truthfully, don't give a shit about the title being a real estate agent.
Right.
What means more to me than anything is being able to be a mom one day.
Yeah.
So, And then after that, the hurricanes came, and I'm like, this is stupid that both of us are agents. So, you know, that's where my decision to pull away from real estate has came from. And I want to focus on what I want to do, my health, my happiness, and not give a shit what it looks like to other people. Because I feel like in this business, being an agent, people get very wrapped up into the awards and trying to look a certain part to come off as being successful. And I'm just like, I'm not playing that game.
Yeah, there was this, so yes, okay.
Yes to all of it.
No, but that goes to two different things that I wanted to say. So when you talk about, you know, putting on this sort of image, right, of what a success looks like, it's different for different people.
Yeah.
But there is this sort of like chase to be this person that we see in an image, and this perception that people have of us. Oh, they have this, they have that. And at the end of the day, you and I get up at 4:30 in the morning. We go to the gym.
Yep.
We come home, eat breakfast, take a shower, go to work. We come home from work. Some days we might take a walk somewhere after work, but usually not. Our walks are usually reserved. We do a Saturday morning run.
You run.
Right.
I don't run.
So at the pier down to Vinoy Park or North Shore Park and back. And then on Sunday morning, we'll do a walk from the Snell Isle Bridge to the Vinoy Park and back.
Yep.
3 miles. Takes about an hour, right? Very simple. Just get out and go do something.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when we get home from work, we literally cook dinner, watch a little TV. We're in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I look forward to doing those things with you, right? Because that's our sort of time to just like, everything else goes away. But we're not on Beach Drive, hanging out, like, you know, seeing all the pictures of people at all these places. And I know people are like, oh, I have FOMO. I have fear of missing out. I wasn't there. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
I'm
like,
not missing out on
right?
anything.
Okay. Because that's what resonates with us. That's what's important to us. And
family and home are important to me.
And I think as real estate agents, you become, it's weird. I don't know of very many industries where the job is tied to the persona, right?
Yeah.
Like people that sell cars, they go sell cars all the day and then they just go home.
Yeah.
Right? But this thing about real estate industries, it's like, you see it, right? Like, and I even think, I hate to say this, but I think my Instagram name might be Joey Romanik Realtor, right? It's not Joey Romanik Car Sales, Joey Romanik Hairstylist, like whatever.
Yeah.
That real estate thing, and the reason it is, and I get it, is because we want people to identify us with that job when the time comes for them to buy or sell a house.
Of course.
I get it.
Yeah.
I understand it. But along with it comes this sort of ego and this glory of, I have to be this person that's at all the events, on all the rooftops, all these things. And I'm like, I mean, we get invited to stuff all the time. And then we're like sitting on the couch eating dinner and we're like,
or you forget to tell me about the
you
event.
go, oh, that thing at 400 Central was tonight. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. Right? Like, because it doesn't resonate with us.
Yeah.
It's not the thing that drives us.
Yeah.
What drives us is helping people when they want to buy or sell a house. All the other stuff is just whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, another thing with like this year that I will say that has improved, because of course there are things that have improved out of all this craziness.
Yeah.
I really do feel that our marriage has strengthened a
100%.
lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I think through all the difficulties, you losing your dad and then losing Rocky and stuff, and even just like with our business, just trying to get through, it's really brought us closer and made our marriage stronger, and I love that.
Yes.
That's like,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I think that I definitely know that it has.
Yeah.
All right. But so as we get to the later part of the year, it does feel like things are getting a little bit better.
Yes. Kind of restoring my faith a bit.
Yeah.
Because I was, when you deal with a tough year, you kind of feel like like your faith is tested and stuff. And so I would just like tell God, be like, okay, like prove me wrong.
I remember what I was going to say a minute ago.
Go ahead.
Okay. I remember a day that I was sitting at home and I saw an Instagram story or something of some agents that we know. They were in a fashion show here in St. Pete, right? And I was like, okay, it's a fashion show. And then the very next like story was from an agent that we know in Colorado who was at the time on the side of a mountain, right? Yeah. And I was like, the first reel didn't mean anything. The second reel resonated with me.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And that's when I was like, this is what's important isn't this for me.
Yeah.
It's this here.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's where I really started to think about what's authentic to us. And that's why that word authentic kind of popped into my head for the year.
I don't really have a word for the year yet. I thought about it, but yeah.
Well,
still got a couple of weeks. But December and November have been, I don't want to say easier, but a lot more just like the break
a
that
little
we've
bit
needed.
A little bit. Yeah. It feels like there's just been this sort of like ease. Like,
yes.
I don't know if it's just because it's the holidays. I don't know if it's post-election stuff where people are finally just like that election's behind us, whatever. Like, just I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Right. But we got some good news a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So I don't want to say the name of the place, but
No.
I reached out to a really great company and they responded immediately. So if you, to anybody trying to find a job, I send you all the love and luck in the world because it's a nightmare.
Yeah. As you were going through the process of interviewing for jobs, I was like, is this what it's like now to interview for a job?
Even when I had like referrals and recommendations and just glowing reviews, the communication level in the corporate world.
Horrendous.
Oh my gosh.
I remember telling you, it's no wonder when I hear people say nobody wants to work anymore. Nobody wants to jump through all these hoops for your $60,000 a year job.
Yeah.
No.
I know. I was asked about my sales experience, and the position wasn't even for a sales role. It was like a support sales role.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
I know. But anyway, so got...
Yeah, so I found a really great company, pitched myself to them. They responded within like 5 minutes, which was amazing. And I set up a meeting for a couple of days later, and a week later, they ended up offering me a position.
Yep.
I'm going to be taking it.
Yep.
And I'll go ahead and share like what it is.
Yeah.
I'm going into commercial and personal lines insurance.
Yep.
So I actually have my 2044 license. I've had that for almost a year now.
Yeah.
Because I was considering about going into insurance about a year ago. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, I'm going to stick in real estate. Yeah. Like, I didn't want to just walk away from real estate. And this company, they were chatting with me if I wanted to do commercial and stuff. And I'm like, I'm actually working on my 220 because it opens up more opportunities. So I'm really excited about it. I've been wanting to go into insurance for a while. And I think it just complements what you do as well.
Oh, for sure. 100%. Yeah.
And so, yeah.
No, I'm really excited for you. And I know that was something that you've been trying to get into for a while.
Yeah. So it feels really good.
Yes. And then we have a little bit of other good news as the year wraps up.
Yes. So excited. So we finally found a little puppy, German Shepherd puppy, who we will be picking up on December 23rd.
Yep.
I'm sure we've already picked him up and have him and announced his name and everything.
By the time this
episode airs.
Yep.
But we went and met him last Friday, and he's just as sweet as can be. Mom kind of looks like Rocky.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to be a cute boy.
Oh, yeah.
His
name is Ranger. So Rocky was named after Rocky Mountain National Park, which is our happy place.
Yep.
And I figured, hey, there's these little park rangers that like to protect and love the mountains just as much as we do. And so I'm like, Ranger is a very fitting name for Rocky's little brother.
Yep. So we're ending a year with that,
a new job
on the horizon, new puppy. And just, looking to put the difficulties of 2024 really behind us.
Yeah. And just taking the lessons because, every single challenge, everything that we went through this year, it not only brought clarity, but it brought lessons, things that I want to do differently, things, that you would want to do differently and stuff. And growth is the best way. It brought a lot of growth.
It did. It showed me like, hey, what's really important. And it's weird because I think for me in general in life, right? I don't know that I've ever been the kind of guy that looks at what other people are doing and felt jealousy or like I wish I was at that party or whatever like that, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been that person, but I know over the last year to two, I've really just kind of gotten to this point where I'm like, everybody does what's right for them. And just in my head, I'm like, if I'm not thinking about something, if I'm not thinking about, I've got to go to this event, I have to be at this place, I have to do this kind of thing, then it's not important to me. Because what's important to you will come to you naturally.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So.
Yeah, for me, I'm listening more to that intuitive voice of what feels true to me. So, here, I want to go into insurance. I'm getting into insurance. I don't care what anybody says about that. Like, I really don't. And I don't care about, like, if people, because I used to, because I wanted to leave real estate earlier. And I just felt like everybody would say, oh, but you know, the team and all of this, like, it made it difficult. And I took what other people were saying with so much weight and everything. So I'm past that.
Yeah.
And I'm just, what feels good to me? What would I like to do and explore and stuff? So. Yeah,
no, real estate is an industry that is too difficult to do if you don't love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I know there's things about it you didn't love, and I know it really crystallized after the hurricane. Like you said, you were working on maybe moving to insurance prior to the hurricanes, but once the hurricanes came, you were like, this, for you and I to be in the same industry, tied to the same transactions in a state that gets hit by hurricanes.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Right?
And, we've been working together for 5 years, and it's been great, but it's like I want something of my own. But I really do think, like, what crystallized it was the hurricanes. Yes. And I'm just like, this is really dumb. And people don't get it until I'm like, try living in a household where both people are commission only. Yeah,
it's tough. And, so as we wrap up 2024, move into 2025, we're hopeful.
Well, I'm focused on everything that I want to create and what I want my life to be.
Yeah, but I do want to look back at 2024 and say thank you to all of the people that, when my dad died, that reached out to us.
Yeah.
That when Rocky died, reached out to us.
Yeah.
The people that did trust us to help them with their real estate needs, and even the people that just called us to talk about real estate.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind that. I'm not saying that that's I love to talk real estate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can think of people that called me up and are like, hey, we might buy an investment property. Like, what do you think? And it never bought anything. Will they sometime? Yeah, maybe, right? But
they just kind of pick your brain.
Yeah, sure. And it's totally cool.
Yeah.
And so for everybody that sent us a Christmas card, right?
Yeah.
All of those people, everybody in our lives.
And just roots for us,
yes,
too.
People,
like that.
Right. You know, the people that champion for us as people and for our businesses. I mean, I'd definitely look back at 2024 and say thank you for that.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, you know, we go to 2025 with a different mindset, really understanding who we are, what we want to do, what we want to be.
Yeah.
You know, what's important to us.
Manifest.
But just really trying to be authentic. I did have one other thing that happened to me at the end of this year that was good.
Oh my gosh. I think I know what it is. Is it the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
The Shout It Out Loudcast Hall of Fame.
I swear.
So if you guys, it's just much to Tina's chagrin as I tell you guys about this. I might edit this out. I listened to a podcast that's called the Shout It Out Loudcast, and it's a podcast about the band Kiss. Mm-hmm. And I found this podcast like 4 years ago. And it's just these two guys out of Boston named Tom and Zeus, and they just do a podcast. And it's, you know, Kiss was a band I grew up on, and I found this podcast. And they have a very interactive sort of community on their Facebook page where people can talk about the shows and whatever. And every year they do a Hall of Fame, and the Hall of Fame is for the previous 12 months. And it's like, you know, Hall of Fame guest, you know, whatever guest they have, they put one in the Hall of Fame. And 2 years ago when they started the Hall of Fame, they put a listener in it. And this year, me and this other guy got added to the listener Hall of Fame. And so I played it for Tina, and she was like, there's a Hall of Fame? Good Lord.
I just told you, I'm like, congratulations.
So thank you, Tom and Zeus. All right. Anything else as we head to 2025?
I think that is it.
All right. It's going to be a good year.
It is.
All right. All right. Thank you guys for watching and for listening. As always, like and subscribe on YouTube, listen on Spotify, hit us up on the Instagram machine, all that fun stuff.
Machine?
Yeah, the Instagram machine.
Okay.
Your phone.
All right.
All right.
We'll catch you in the next episode.
All right. Bye.